Hey folks, welcome back to my channel. Today, I want to talk with you about ear curations. So, ear curations have gotten very popular in the last, I would say, 5 years. They've gotten really popular. We've been doing them for longer than that, but in the last 5 years, they've really blown up. And I'm so excited to see so many more clients who are interested in getting lots of fun ear piercings, getting their ears all decked up and decorated, and trusting piercers to be able to guide them through that process, or jewelry stylists to help them with their jewelry and placement. It's awesome. That being said, there are a few things that I wish more clients knew before they started the process of ear curation, so let's talk about it. My top 5 things that I really wish everyone knew before they came in to get an ear curation done or get their ears designed. The first one, and probably the biggest, is that it does not all happen at once. And I know that it's really easy to look online and see these absolutely beautiful, magnificent, decked out ears that are covered in all the most beautiful piercings, all the most beautiful jewelry, and bring that picture into the studio and plan on or think in your head that you're gonna leave that day with your ears looking like that. And that is just not the reality. And that's for a number of reasons. One, the body can only handle so much healing at once. So most piercers won't do more than 3 to 4 piercings in a single session, and we may do even less than that if the piercings that we're doing are very advanced or difficult to heal, or your anatomy makes them more challenging. So right off the bat, if you were thinking about getting an ear curation with 7, 10, 13 piercings, we're not going to do all those piercings for you at once. They're just not going to heal well. It's going to be really overwhelming for your body. And honestly, piercers who do that many in one session are usually more interested in your wallet than your well-being. Another element of this is jewelry goals. A lot of times people come in and they bring me pictures covered in the teeniest, tiniest, snuggest fitting hoops or the biggest, most extravagant clusters. And while those are beautiful goals to have in mind, that's not how you're gonna walk out of the studio with your ears looking that day. There's certain jewelry that's just not a very smart idea to start your piercings with, certain jewelry that won't allow the piercings to heal fully, or certain jewelry that's gonna be really hard to keep clean during the healing process. So a lot of times we have to start with something a little bit simpler that's a little bit easier to heal with, and then once we have things fully healed, we can worry about your final fashion goals and how you want it to look and things like that. But we aren't super worried about that in the beginning. We're worried about doing the piercings and getting them to heal well. And I promise you, getting them to heal well is way more important than making them look super cute right out the gate. A really good example of this is my client Danielle. Her ear has gone viral online multiple times. I've even had people bring me her ear as a reference photo for projects, and don't get me wrong, her ear is absolutely stunning. It is gorgeous, one of my favorite ears I've gotten to do. But this did not happen all at once. This did not even happen in a year or two. Danielle has been getting extensive ear piercings over the course of 10 years. So A, she didn't get all of this pierced at once. She got 1 or 2, let them heal, got a few more, let them heal. But B, all of this jewelry did not happen all at once. Many of these piercings were started with simple, comfortable to heal with titanium piercings, allowed to heal with those simple pieces first, and then once they were healed, she got these fun, fancy giant pieces or these rings or these stacks. But it did not start off looking like this at all. And I really wish more clients came in understanding that they can have all these beautiful goal pictures, but those are goal pictures, and that's what their ear is going to look like in 6 months or a year or 2 years, but it's not necessarily how their ear is going to look when they leave the studio after their first appointment. Another thing that I wish folks knew is that anatomy has limitations. So you may come in and have in your mind, your heart set that you want your ear curation to have an industrial piercing, a snug, and an anti-tragus. But if your ear doesn't have the anatomy for us to safely do those piercings, there's really no way for us to do them for you. If we try and force piercings on anatomy that isn't suitable for them, at best, they just won't ever heal and you'll take it out after a while, but at worst, it could leave you with incredibly severe scarring or other health consequences. And that's just not what any good piercer wants for their clients, which does mean that sometimes we have to say no, or sometimes you really want a certain piercing and we have to explain that you don't have the anatomy for it. And while many clients are really understanding and really respectful when this happens, I definitely deal with clients, as do any piercer, who get incredibly upset that we tell them no. Sometimes they will throw a bit of a temper tantrum, or they'll insist that we have to do it for them anyway. They'll be very demanding and rude, and it sucks. None of us are excited to say no. We don't want to break your hearts. We make less money when we say no and do less piercings for you, but we say it because we genuinely care about your well-being, and I really wish clients knew coming into it so that way they didn't get so attached and have their hearts so set on a specific piercing. I wish folks came in with a little bit more of an open mind and were like, hey, I'd really like to do an industrial and an anti-tragus, but I know that those are very anatomy dependent, and I know my ear may not work for them, so I also have some alternatives that I would be happy with as well, or I'm open to suggestion. Would definitely make everyone's life a lot easier. Now, when we talk about ear curations, a question that a lot of people always have is budget. People really want to know what is a good budget for an ear curation or how much money they should plan to spend. And honestly, that's going to vary as much as each client and each goal. I have some clients who have budgets of a few thousand. I have some clients who have budgets of tens of thousands of dollars. And on the flip side, I have some clients whose budget is only a couple $100s. And we can work within any budget. I've done ear curations and styled ears that cost thousands of dollars. Here's one of my most ornate curations. I did pretty much all of the jewelry styling for this ear. I've also done curations that were incredibly affordable. Here are some really cool titanium ears that I've done. We can work with whatever budget you are providing for us. That being said, you also need to work within your budget. And what I see happen a lot is clients will come in with photographs of absolutely stunning, gorgeous ears. A lot of times they're bringing in photographs of celebrity ears or influencer ears, and they really want their ears to look just like that, which we can totally do. But a lot of times these ears that you see that are super viral online or that do belong to celebrities or influencers or millionaires are very expensive ears. Sometimes they're all diamonds, sometimes they're all platinum, all gold. They've got lots of stuff going on, and I can do that for you. But a lot of times the clients won't have the budget for those pieces, which is completely fair and understandable. Most people do not have the budget to do an ear curation of that size and that complexity. So we as piercers will show them some gold options with cubic zirconia or some titanium options. We'll try and be flexible and work within their budget, but clients will insist that they only like the look of these very expensive gold and diamond pieces, which is fine. Diamonds are beautiful, and yeah, nothing else really shines exactly the way they do. And solid gold and platinum does not look the same as titanium and other metals. But if you're telling me you don't have the budget for those expensive pieces, but you don't like anything else I'm showing you, you only want those pieces, but you want to pay only a couple dollars for each one, that is unfortunately just not realistic. But you have to be willing to compromise. If you know that your budget for a visit is more limited and you still like these more decorative pieces, either we need to do fewer piercings and maybe prioritize just getting you one or two pieces that you love, or if your goal is to do as much as you can in one visit, let's do basic titanium. If you really love the color of gold or rose gold, let's anodize it. I know the anodizing doesn't look perfect, but it's an incredibly affordable, incredibly cost-effective way to get your project started. And unfortunately, I have a lot of clients who come in and they have fallen in love, especially with celebrity ears. I have been brought Scarlett Johansson's ear as a photo reference more times than I could count. And it's beautiful. It's beautiful jewelry, but it's also very expensive. And if that's not your budget, let's be willing to compromise and work together and find pieces that are more within your budget that aren't going to bankrupt you over some body piercings. They may not look identical, but I promise you they will literally look just as beautiful. And I don't know about everyone else, but I actually really love the look of titanium, and I love doing titanium ear curations. I don't think gold is the end all be all. And I post tons of titanium all the time that I think is just as pretty. The fourth thing I wish folks knew is that function is more important than fashion, especially when it comes to body piercings. Now, this matters a lot when we're doing fresh piercings because a lot of folks want teeny tiny hoops or wild clusters and chains and dangles, and those things are all very fashionable and very cute, but they don't function well for a healing piercing. For a healing piercing, I need to pierce you with something that's going to be easy to heal with, easy to keep clean. And yes, we can still pierce with a lot of really decorative, fun pieces. I'm just not going to put the world's smallest gold hoop in your brand new piercing, and I'm also not going to do a brand new piercing and cover it in giant jewelry and 10 chains and charms and dangles. It's just not going to heal. This also applies once your piercing is fully healed as well. Some of the pictures that you see online are just photos. They're just jewelry that was put in for a photograph and removed right after. Or worse, they're photo edited, they're manipulated, they're fake. But people will see these impossibly tight hoops or these impossibly fitting barbells, and they really want to wear them. And no matter how much we try and explain that it's not practical, that it's not comfortable, that it could cause their piercing to get irritated or have issues, or it's just not going to be comfortable to live in. You're not going to be able to sleep on it. It's going to get caught and snagged a lot. I have a lot of clients who will insist on getting those pieces anyway, and then they'll come back a couple weeks later and go, "Why would you sell me this? It's not comfortable, it's not practical." And that sucks, especially with the rise of photo manipulation online and a lot of, unfortunately, bigger name companies who do a lot of photo editing and photo manipulation on their pictures, which make people believe that these things are possible. There is one brand in particular that is known for gluing jewelry onto models for pictures on the internet, and there's no way that a physical piercing could make it look the way it looks when it's just glued to someone's ear. Our bodies just don't work that way. But because these images are so widespread, clients fall in love with these things that are simply fashionable but not functional or practical for daily wear at all. And I wish more clients brought a healthy level of skepticism to some of the images that they saw online, the way that we do for fashion industries and editorial shoots where we acknowledge that these things are photoshopped a lot of the times. And I wish that folks trusted their piercers when we were like, "Hey, this does look super cute, but you are absolutely gonna hate living with this or wearing this or getting pierced with this. It's just not what's going to be functional and safe." And the final and fifth thing that I wish folks knew when it came to doing ear curations and things like that is that custom jewelry or specially made jewelry is not fast. So the body piercing industry is a made-to-order industry. That means that every single piece of jewelry, whether we're getting it custom and just for you, or whether we're ordering it for our studio to put in our cases, is made when we order it. There is no warehouse full of beautiful pieces of body jewelry. There is no back room that we can go to and find these pieces. You tell us what you want, we submit that order to the company, and usually it's made from the ground up. We submit the order to the company, and then the company sources the gemstones, they then fabricate the setting, they set the stones, they polish the piece, they quality control it, and then they send it back out to us. And sometimes that process can take months, especially if we're talking about something that's very custom. If we're doing a brand new design, it has to be 3D modeled and CAD'd first, and sometimes the first 5, 10, 20 versions of a design that they 3D model doesn't actually work out, and they have to keep going back and tweaking it and tweaking the wax. If we're sourcing super custom gemstones, sometimes they end up mailing stones back and forth with vendors for months on end if the stone is incredibly specific. I've had clients who wanted a perfect match to gems that were in heirloom family jewelry or engagement rings, and that takes a long time to source those stones. That's not something that's going to happen quickly. Even if we aren't doing a brand new one-of-a-kind custom piece for you, even if it's a piece that already exists, we're just getting in a different combination or a different stone, sometimes these things take a while to get done. Sometimes the stone is hard to source. Sometimes they need to wait to get extra material in. Custom orders with body jewelry have legitimately never in the history of the industry been something that was very fast, because it is something that's made to order. But people these days are so used to Amazon and online shopping that they expect to place an order for body jewelry and have it there next week. And that is just not the way the system works. And despite the fact that many different piercers try everything in our power to warn clients, we give folks an estimated time frame of lead times, we make folks sign paperwork that says they know how long it's going to take, we give progress and status updates, we still often encounter ear curation clients who will call a studio every single week and say, "Where's my jewelry?" when they were told when they ordered it, "Hey, this is a brand new piece, it's going to take 4 months to get made. It's going to take 6 months to get made." We aren't dealing with fast fashion or mass production. We are dealing with independent, talented jewelers who make everything by hand, who are doing these one-of-a-kind, beautiful pieces, and that takes time. That takes time to do and to do well. So if you do end up deciding to custom order a piece through your piercer, whether it's just a piece that's in a different setup of color or material than what's in the cases, or if it's all the way to a completely custom, one-of-a-kind, never-before-been-made piece with custom gems and custom settings and everything just for you, please be patient with your piercer and understand that it is going to take time, and that we promise you the jewelers and companies are very hard at work making your piece, but they're also very hard at work making thousands of other people their pieces too, and sometimes that means that we have to be patient. But I promise you it's worth the wait. So those are my top 5 things that I wish folks knew before getting into ear curations. I really hope if you're thinking about getting your ears curated or styled that you watch this video first and take some of this advice to heart. And it really just boils down to a level of trust between client and piercer, and trusting that the piercer is being honest when they tell you things like, we need to start with less piercings, things are going to take longer to heal, you don't have the anatomy for something, or hey, I can get this piece for you, but it's going to take a while. So just having that trust with your piercer is so huge, especially when we're doing a project like an ear curation. As per usual, if you like the content that I'm putting out, please hit like, please subscribe, and I look forward to hanging out with you again soon. Have a great day.